evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I am here once again to declare the winner of the video response wars this week, which happens to be Crazy Josh Cravey. Congratulations, Crazy Josh Cravey. You are the winner of the video response wars this week. I want to congratulate you on giving a very fitting tribute to Robin Williams. That was very nicely done. You did a very good job. But I would like to focus more on your participation in my school Q&A. As a matter of fact, at the end of your Q&A answers, which, by the way, you gave very good answers, at the end of it, you asked me some questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer you in the best way I can. Alright, now, I'm sorry for the lateness of this particular video. It couldn't be helped. I had to work late, so therefore. The first question was, did I ever repeat a grade? No, I did not. As a matter of fact, I went straight through from kindergarten to my senior year. The only reason why I was 19 when I graduated was because I started kindergarten late. That's all anybody needs to know. Beyond that, there was nothing else. Okay. I graduated in 1989. Now, when I went to school, the building I went to school in is still there, and it still runs as a school. But technically, the school I went to doesn't exist anymore, on a technicality. It's kind of bizarre, but it's true. On a technicality, it really doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so here's how that one worked. When I went to school in that building, you had kindergarten all the way till junior high in one section, and then you had high school in the other. Okay? So every grade was contained in that building. Whether you were in section 1 or section 2, it was all in the same one building. So how does it operate today? Well, kindergarten through 6th grade is still in that original building. But when you get into 7th and 8th grade, which that's what they consider junior high, you get shipped somewhere else. But when you finish 8th grade, you return back to the original building and you attend freshman through senior year. Kind of weird, isn't it? But that also answers another question you had. You were wondering what they considered elementary, junior high, and high school. Well, elementary was K through 6. Junior high was 7th and 8th. And then, of course, high school was freshman to senior. Okay. Have I ever served in detention? My memory is a little vague, but I seem to remember exactly one time where I served a one-day detention for a completely bogus charge. Okay, it was a 1-hour detention I served for a completely bogus charge. But other than that, I don't remember. And honestly, I was a very shy kid, so I did my best to stay out of trouble. And I did a very good job. So that's the only time I remember ever being in any kind of detention at all, and it was only for an hour. So, and it was for a bogus charge too, so there you go. Anyway, considering the fact that the best friend I had in high school is still my best friend today, I will not reveal the name of that best friend, and the reason for that is because, let's just face it, there are some people who love the internet limelight, the spotlight, and then there are some people who would rather just admire people in the shadows. I can understand that. The internet is not necessarily the friendliest place in town. It's a nice place, but it's not always the friendliest. I'm sure you understand that. Some of us love the limelight, some of us don't. So out of respect of my best friend, I'm leaving that best friend in the shadows. Because that's what they want. And I can understand that. So, I will not reveal that name. Okay, now, as for mean teachers, I did have a substitute teacher in the 4th grade that was exceptionally mean. I don't remember the name of that teacher anymore. I don't remember exactly what that teacher had done that was so mean, but I just remember she was incredibly mean, and that was that. So, now as for a high school teacher that was habitually condescending, that was mostly due to a communication error between me and that teacher. Mostly the communication error was on my part. I wasn't listening very well, and I hope I wish I had listened a little bit better. I wish I would have comprehended what this teacher was trying to tell me a little bit better, because if I had... Now keep in mind, I had mostly A's and B's in school. If you looked at my report card, you'd see A, B, A, B, A, B. You would hardly ever see a C, D, or an F. Hardly ever. That just didn't happen. Matter of fact, if I ended up with something like that on a report card, that would put my parents in shock. Because my grades were that good almost all the time. Matter of fact, to get a low grade on a quiz or a test really shocked my parents. So, anyway, so that was how good my grades actually were. So, like I said, probably I would have gotten straight A's all the time had I paid better attention to what this teacher was trying to tell me. And we'll just leave it at that. Okay. Did I ever get in trouble for something I didn't do? No, but it came close. Okay, there was an incident in which I actually ended up with enough evidence to prove that I really didn't do what they thought I had done, and so therefore I got out of the whole thing. But it came close. Alright. Now, I have mentioned before in videos that I wasn't exactly the healthiest kid in school, but the thing is that a lot of people get this idea that because I wasn't the healthiest, that I must have been the least healthy. No, no, no. There were actual kids in my class that were less healthy than me. And I'm not going to go into details, and there's no need to go into details, but suffice it to say that even though I wasn't the healthiest kid in school, I also wasn't the least healthy kid in school. See the difference? And because of certain dietary requirements that I had at the time, which I don't have anymore, it was just deemed better for me at that time for my particular health that I was able to bring my own lunch rather than eat the lunch at the cafeteria. That was my dietary requirements. It had nothing to do with the cafeteria food was great, but I had special dietary requirements at the time that just kind of inhibited me from participating. Kind of sad, but true. Anyway. I didn't get my driver's license till I was 22, and that was due to some minor vision problems. Okay? Now, do not get me confused with Benjamin Franklin. I did not have that poor vision. I have never had that poor vision. But, you know, you can have some minor vision problems that can still cause you troubles in the line of driving, even though you see pretty well. So due to some minor vision problems, I ended up not being able to get my driver's license till I was 22. But there was a good thing that came out of all that. The insurance rate, the car insurance rates for people at the time that were 16 to 21 were exorbitant. Well, because I didn't drive, I didn't need driver's insurance, so therefore I saved a lot of money. And yes, I have an older sister, and there was many a time that between her and taxis, that's how I usually got to work. I ended up taking a bus from time to time. So, but that's how I got to work until I finally did get my driver's license. But vision problems was about the only thing that kept me from getting my driver's license sooner. And that was it. Actually, when it came to the written test, I got a perfect score. Can you believe that? Alright, so, who was my favorite teacher? That was Mrs. Dugan, and that was in kindergarten. I loved that teacher. She was great, and I do miss her terribly. There you have it. That's the whole story. Alright, well, hopefully that answered your questions. Thank you very much for participating in the video response wars this week. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.